Hello everybody, GamerZ is I and is back with another video. Grammar Nazis will be shooting me at this point. Now, before anybody jumps the gun and starts writing, GamerZ supports piracy, let me make this one thing clear. If everything else in the video is obscure, if everything else is proven to be wrong, I want this one to be as clear and as true as physically possible. Piracy is illegal. It is punishable by federal law for a fine of up to $2,000, I believe, and I don't know the specifics, but it is illegal. I do recognize it is illegal. This is illegal. Piracy, illegal. Very illegal. Illegal. Alright, I just wanted to make that clear before I started the video. I'm not defending piracy. I'm just trying to explain why piracy isn't hindering developers and isn't hindering the PC community. So with that, let's start the video. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy. Oh, by the way, don't mind the frame rate of the video, okay? I don't want that to mislead anybody. That this footage was captured by my OBS software, and it wasn't working up to standards as do my other videos. Well, assuming that they are up to standards anyway. But anyway, this video, if you want the original video and the original frame rate that it was locked at, then go see his. But don't use my frame rate, my video, as an accurate representation of his frame rate. I'm just using his video as an argument. I'm just using his video as a basis to have him speak for himself. The visuals are there just because, well, the visuals are there. So, if anything, just, if you want to, because he makes a claim about how he's playing this game in 60 FPS 4K. I'm not going to argue the opposite. You look for yourself, alright? But other than that, here we go.
What's going on, guys? It's Arsonall, and today I want to talk about something that's been bothering me about the PC gaming community. The more I talk about PCs and the more I talk about PCs versus consoles and things like that, I see a lot of comments from PC gamers.
The people that post the comments at the bottom of this video aren't an accurate representation of the entire PC community. I believe every individual is different and should not define the community, especially if the individuals committing these acts of any kind are a minority.
Saying that PC kills consoles because you can pirate games, and people praising pirating on PC.
While I wouldn't like this to be true, there are, in fact, some people that, for some reason, praise piracy. Again, this is illegal. It's illegal to commit piracy of any kind, so just keep that in mind while you watch this video.
And they have all kinds of arguments why pirating is okay, and I hear all the time I hear this argument. They say that I wasn't a customer in the first place. I pirated the game to see if I would like it. If I like it, then I buy the game. If I don't like it, then they didn't lose a customer in the first place.
At this point, I hope it's ingrained into your mind that I believe that piracy is illegal. Alright, now with my first argument. If someone buys a game on Steam and then doesn't like it, they can refund it, right? On console, if someone buys a game and they don't like it, they can sell it. So, if someone pirates a game and then doesn't like it and doesn't buy it, well, obviously they weren't going to be a customer in the first place because the development company would not have gotten their money anyway. They would have sold it, they would have refunded it. Okay, used game sales, the developer would still get their money, but the person that buys that used game would, I guess, be considered not giving the developer their money. So in the long term, used game sales can hinder developers. My point is, if you don't like a game and you sell it or you refund it, it's practically the same as not buying a game you pirate.
That is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, why would anyone refund a PC game or sell a console game? I mean, that just doesn't make any sense.
Maybe there are 1 out of 10 people that actually do that, who actually say, hey, I like this game, I'm gonna buy it.
Actually, 47.9% of 47,000 people report that more than 50% of the time they purchase a PC game after pirating it. 7.5% report that it's always and never. Well, you can take that with a grain of salt, as this question is oddly worded, sorry. Derp. Anyway, never could possibly mean that they never pirated the video game in the first place. But again, I might be wrong.
They use pirating as a way to decide what they want to put their money into. Everyone else who says it is just completely full of shit.
Wait, did you just say that they were right in thinking that? I'm not sure what you meant by that previous statement.
They're liars and they're cheap bastards, and that's why they pirate games.
Okay, how can they be lying if that's exactly the reason why they pirate video games?
They don't care about the gaming community. They don't care about the PC gaming community, because if they did, they would realize how bad they're hurting PC gaming.
PC gaming isn't being hurt by pirated. In fact, this next statistic shows the opposite. As you can see here, looking at the gray console revenue, I guess, over 20 billion in 2008, and then suddenly it's still the same, but they've gone at a steady downfall since the 2011s. However, PC has been at a steady increase, quite linear to be honest, but this is because PC is growing and because many developers are realizing, oh, look at this. But the reason why console is going at a downfall is because once the first couple waves of mass distribution in the new new AAA titles that are put onto the console, once that is over, then it's all used game sales, because those are more appealing to buy rather than new game sales, right? So, but used games don't help developers. They only help the company selling them, which is why, probably and practically so, that the console total revenue is going down since the 2011s, is because of the new games that come out, they quickly become used. On PC, however, it's quite the opposite. You can't really sell used games on PC unless, of course, you have physical media, such as going on to Newegg or Amazon to purchase such medias. The resale factor of digital distributions on PC are, in fact, a one-time purchase, and you can't sell them, really. But that also means that the more people that do buy it, they're buying it directly from the developer, so that way they get more money.
There's a reason that a lot of console gamers are switching to PC. I see it all the time. A lot of my subscribers have built PCs in the time I've had my channel. And they were originally console gamers. And that's because there's so much that the PC offers that consoles don't. That's because the consoles came out very, very underpowered. I'm doing 4K 60 frames per second right now on my PC games. Now that cost a lot of money. There's definitely no doubt about that. I'm not going to argue that. It costs a hell of a lot of money to play at 4K 60 frames per second. But to play at a resolution and a frame rate and higher settings than the consoles doesn't cost much more than the consoles. And people are recognizing this, and a lot of them are moving over to PC.
Sorry for not interrupting in a while, but I felt that there was no reason to argue these points.
So PC gaming is definitely growing. It's definitely growing. I see it happening. I think everybody sees it happening who's honest.
Do you see it growing now? Do you see it growing now? Well, yeah, of course.
But what I'm starting to notice is that developers, a lot of them, don't really care about the PC. And I have to believe that a lot of it has to do with pirates.
Now, I can't say that your interpretation is entirely wrong, but that's probably not the only reason they're ignoring it. It's probably because they believe some of the misconceptions about PC, and how if they develop a PC game, that it may or may not work on PC. That might be another reason why they're avoiding PC platform.
PC has been getting quite a few questionable ports, Watch Dogs, Batman.
And you're saying this is because of piracy? No, I am brought up to believe that the Watch Dogs port was because Sony paid Ubisoft to make the game look trashy on PC, or at least console level, which is still trashy, but still, that's my belief on what they did. I might be wrong, but that's one of the rumors that are out there. A second thing is, no, it's not entirely hindered by piracy. These games, they can be developed with tons and tons of money, and there are still, like, 40, what was it? Let's see here, where was it? Aha, here it is. 64.2% of the 50,000 people that answered this survey from PC Gamer say that they don't pirate video games. Of course, you could take this infographic, I guess, with a grain of salt because it is only 50,000 people. It is hard to discern whether or not they just got lucky, they were trolling because of anonymity on the internet, let's see, what else, that maybe they're lying, I don't know. But, of course, that's why you need larger and larger sample sizes. And that's why this statistic is not the one and true infallible statistic. That's why people do rehashes of different information. That's why they do retests. But that's what science is about. That's what, trying to prove information. This is what research is about. Now let's look at it like this. If only 35 out of every 100 people, as this infographic shows, pirates video games, that means 64 people out of 100 don't pirate video games. So if we took that to a huge scale of this entire survey of 50,742 responses, only 32,576 don't pirate video games. And I say only with a huge grain of salt, because there could be liars, there could be, human error, what have you, what have I, it doesn't matter. But the basic representation of this is that there's 32,576 people that don't pirate video games out of 50,742. Now, assuming this statistic is exact, which it's probably not, we'll just go off the logic anyway. Alright, so let's artificially boost the sample size by 10. Let's do it by 10. Alright, so let's say that it's not 50,000, it's 50,000 times 10 responses to this. That would still leave 325,763.64 people that don't pirate video games out of the 181,656 people that do. So still, that's a huge majority over people that don't. And, of course, as I said in my previous videos, or the previous point even, that 47% of people actually do buy the game after they pirate it. So out of the 35.8% that do pirate video games, 47% of them purchase it 50% of the time, and 11% of them actually buy the game. Oh shit, no, that was 7%. Now I'm just fucking up my numbers. Sorry about that. But again, take this statistic with a huge grain of salt, even though it is an accurate representation, as I would say, of the PC community. See, the PC community really enjoys playing video games, and we understand the risk of piracy. If everyone were to pirate video games, no developer would ever make any money, and nobody would even develop for the PC anymore. We are pro-consumer. We like market. We like choices. We like all of this. But we're going to fuck it up if people keep pirating. If everybody pirates, then yeah, that is a totally bad thing, and that is a noticeable hindrance of the PC community. But as I've shown before, the PC community is right now, it's growing. So if we want to focus on piracy, we might want to focus on what's causing the console gaming to lower, which would be used game sales. Because as you can tell by 2011, there's it's what, 25 billion dollars of revenue, but then it started lowering afterwards, which shows either terrible quality games, which is not the case, obviously, but it's the fact of used games taking over. It's taking precedence over the new games, and developers aren't getting all the money that they should be because of used game sales. Now, of course, that was a lot to choke up, right? That's a lot of information to choke up. But basically, TLDR, okay, the PC is not being directly hindered by piracy at this moment. Of course, if the majority of people were to pirate video games, then we would see the decline in revenue by the billions, right? As console gamers have seen in their statistic, it is, the used games is having a negative impact on the revenue that console games are producing. But PC games are producing a lot more revenue, which hints quite the opposite. And to be honest, I think that the last infographic I showed was for the most part true, because if it wasn't true, then the revenue that PC would be developing wouldn't be developing as it is.
PC has been getting quite a few questionable ports, Watch Dogs, Batman. Then the games that developers don't really take the time to improve. They just basically port it over, and it's a console game for PC. Yeah, you'll get better resolution, you're going to get better, frame rates, but you're not getting better textures and better things like that because the developers just don't care.
That's what you think. Of course, that's not what the PC gaming community thinks, as we are still getting games upon games upon games. In fact, a lot of indie developers do care about PC gaming because it is so much easier to develop games for PC than it is for console. That's proven by the numerous indie games, as suggested by GameJolt, as suggested by the Steam community of indie games, etc.
Console gaming is where the money's at right now for AAA developers. That's just what it is.
As I've shown before, no, it's not. Okay, maybe for AAA developers, but in fact, I believe that the indie developing market combined with the AAA developers is what's making the revenue worth it. So, just a heads up, if the overlords at Microsoft and the overlords at Sony decide to have their games boosted in revenue, like in terms of revenue, then they might want to start porting indie games over to the console. That is, if the console can handle it. For example, I would love to see Hatred or Hotline Miami on the consoles. I mean, those games are hella fun to play, and they're really interesting and, well, sick. But still, they're very interesting, and I would love to see other gamers playing the same thing. And I feel like if games like that were ported to the console, it would be a lot of benefit in terms of finance to the console community.
You're going to get, half the price for a lot of games on PC, for a lot of the AAAs. You're going to pay half the price, and a lot of people are just going to pirate it.
Well, that sounds counterintuitive. Why would someone pirate a video game if they could potentially pay half the price for the video game? I mean, come on. Again, not a ton of PC gamers pirate video games. It's a select minority that do. In fact, just check the infographic. I'm not going to try to prove it again, just watch the video.
And like I said, I always see these stupid arguments from PC gamers as to why pirating and stealing from the developers and stealing a game from people who worked hard on it is okay.
Okay, I'll say it again, that many people don't think it's okay. In fact, here are some reasons why people pirate by age. As you can see here, a lot of it is they can't afford it. And in my personal opinion, if you can't afford it, don't get it. Personally, just don't. It's not worth it. It is, in fact, stealing, obviously. It's against the law to steal. But here's a difference, though. If you go into a bar, or if you go into a shop and you steal a candy bar, the stocks actually represent that candy bar being stolen because they didn't get to steal that they didn't get to sell that candy bar, which means they also lost a candy bar. Like, it's free work, gone, all of that is gone. However, the work that is producing a PC game onto a digital distribution is not quite as harmful, well, at least quantifiably, because if you steal a digital distribution, it's not quite as harmful as actually stealing a manufactured version of the game, because it didn't cost anything for them to make that manufactured copy of that game. Not saying it didn't cost anything to pay for that game, or to make that game, but manufacturing prices are out of the question.
Another one I always hear is, it's on consoles too. Yes, on the Xbox 360. I don't know about the PlayStation 3. I think there was a way to pirate games on PlayStation 3. It was difficult, I think, and they kept updating the PS3 and stuff like that to combat it. But either way, it was a lot more difficult, and you cannot pirate on the Xbox One.
Oh, really? You can't clone your hard drive on the Xbox One? Tell me, how is that infallible logic prevalent on the consoles, that you can't clone a hard drive?
I know that there was some country, I forget where it was, that found a way to pirate. I don't even know if it was pirating games. It was like duplicating your PlayStation Network account, and the PlayStation Network account they would duplicate for you had a bunch of games on it.
I don't know, getting games for free sounds like piracy to me, especially if the developer isn't getting their money. Used games.
So to this day, I don't think there's any way to pirate games on the PS4 or Xbox One. So pirating on consoles is minimal at best. They just want to use that to try to say it's no different than consoles, we're just doing the same thing that you guys are doing.
Well, what you guys are doing is buying used games, which doesn't help the developer. And if massively quantified, if everyone on consoles started buying used games and never a new game in their life, then yes, developers would never get any money. Therefore, that argument could be invalidated easily.
When in all actuality, that is not true at all.
I doubt nobody buys used games on your platform.
Now, I do want to say, I do think there are some instances where pirating is okay. And I know that does sound a bit hypocritical, but...
Look, I never said piracy was okay. I said it is illegal, but it can be understandable as to why someone would, in fact, pirate. What you're saying here is that it is okay to pirate, that it is ethical to pirate. It's not ethical to pirate. But I also think that it's not ethical to buy used games, even though they may be cheaper. However, developers aren't getting their money either way, so it's equally bad. And that's what you're concerned about, right? Developers not getting their money?
Just hear me out. I think that this is like 1% of people in the world that fall under this category. But
nope, it seems that it's over 1% of the people in that category. But continue.
But I think if it's the only way you can play a game, the only way, and I'm not talking about, mom won't give me the money, go mow a lawn, go do whatever it is you have to do to get that money.
Or you can make a game and post it to GameJolt for a price.
If you live in the US, there's no reason at all you should be pirating games.
Your logic is flawed. There are banned games in America, or just games that are unavailable here. However, being in America is quote-unquote not okay to pirate for the reason that it is unavailable. But, your logic is invaluable.
If you live in a country that doesn't allow you to buy video games or doesn't sell video games because they ban them or whatever it is,
kind of like America, right?
Then I think it's okay. Everybody else is just full of shit and they're stealing, and that's the bottom line.
So if you pirate a game that's in another country and is not sold in your country, that makes it okay. But if you pirate a game just to demo it out, and then you don't purchase it because you don't like it, because, in the real world, if you refund a game or you sell it or whatever, then that's suddenly not okay? You said a few minutes ago that it's not okay to pirate video games and then not buy them because they don't interest you, even though that you can buy a video game and then refund it, or buy a video game and sell it and put it up for the used market. Anyway, this logic doesn't make sense. These are a double standard. It's a double standard by saying that it's okay to pirate if the game isn't sold in your country, but it's not okay to pirate if the game in question doesn't interest you even after you've pirated it and tried it, even though you can refund it or sell it. Just so y'all know, piracy is illegal no matter what the reasons are behind it, okay? Just keep that in mind.
And pirating is the reason why PC gaming is sort of still ignored by developers, even though it's growing.
A more logical argument perhaps could be that the PC market is growing because less and less people are starting to believe the misconceptions about PC, and that it's actually not that difficult to make a game for PC. Again, it's growing, but it wouldn't be growing if people knew that it was piratable and people just pirate things and steal games all the time. Again, another misconception, and this misconception is being lowered and lowered and lowered every day.
The only people responsible for that are the PC gamers themselves.
A moment ago, you said it was the pirates' fault. Now it's the PC gamers' fault? What? Notice the two different categories between PC gamers and pirates. There are two different categories here.
Making excuses for pirating, making excuses for whatever it is that hurts the platform.
Dude, Just a couple minutes ago, you just excused piracy if the game isn't sold in your country.
And it's just something that I've noticed the more I talk about PC gaming, the more I see it in the comments. Yes, pirating. Pirating is awesome. PC has pirating, consoles don't.
And those are the nitwits that don't deserve to be on PC. They're fucking criminals. I get it.
And that is not a good thing to brag about, that you steal games from hardworking developers. You don't support your hobby. You don't support the hard work that people put in to give you great experiences. That's a shitty thing to do, in my opinion, and I don't understand it. I don't understand for sure how that is a plus or a positive thing for PC gaming.
On the flip side, buying used games is totally alright.
So that's really it, guys. I'm going to leave some links in the description that sort of give the facts about my argument, kind of show that PC gamers are lying a bit when they say some of these things.
You know, facts are my most favoritist things in the world. Let me go check those things out.
And I want to know what you guys think about it. I'd love to know if you pirate games, why do you do it? And do you think it's hurting PC gaming? So let me know in the comments, guys. That's really it. That's all I got for you. And thanks for watching.
Alright, well, I read through the articles, and damn, they were pretty good reads. I suggest anyone who's interested in looking up some articles that had rather outdated quotes, but nonetheless very good reads and had from decent points. Yeah, I suggest y'all go and see those articles. Although I feel like he nitpicked these articles out and chose the ones that suited his needs. So if you want to do some extra research on your own, you can search PC piracy rates on Google, and you can see and venture out for yourself. Don't let me limit you, and definitely don't let him limit your resources, because you're on the internet. You can find out whatever you want to find out about. Just don't look up Reddit 50/50, because that's fucked up shit. This is Gamer Z again, and I hope you enjoyed.